Professors, what is the most simple thing students do which grants them your respect or annoys you to death? When a student bombs a test, comes to my office, and attempts to finagle their way to a higher grade with arguments that the test was too hard, this is his or her first F, or I'm not fair, I send the student out the door. When a student bombs a test, comes to my office, reviews the correct answers with me, asks for more practice, and leaves telling me that he or she is going to do better on the next test, I usually remove the bombed test score from my calculation of the final grade. Respect. Asking a question, even a dumb question, during class. It lets me know what is and what isn't getting through to them. Also does a great job of breaking up my talking all the time, which undoubtedly gets boring. Annoys. Not paying attention. Why are you even here? I don't take attendance, and you're paying for this. Thinks I can't see their cell phone, because they can barely see it under their desk. I'm looking at it from a wholly different angle. I can see exactly what the F you're doing. Every time. I never miss it. Jesus. Annoying true story. A college student who brought her mommy in to talk to the dean because she got a low mark on a test. The test was too difficult, requiring her to study more than one night. College is not grade school. Respect. Disagree with me. Don't just bask in my words, but actually listen to them and challenge me. Use the readings to show where I'm wrong, or exaggerating, or missing another important point. Annoy. Act as if I'm forcing you to endure my class. I don't take attendance, it's an upper level elective, so you can leave and get notes from someone else if you'd rather be facet baiting. Psych professor here. You annoy the fuck out of me when I give you an extension. You still don't turn in your assignment, and then you complain about not getting credit. The biggest thing a student can do to earn my respect is to be honest and take responsibility for a fuck up or even an oversight. I've had students come to me and say, but it wasn't my fault, blah blah blah, and my response is along the lines of tough fucking shit. I've had other students come to me and say I've got all this tough shit going on, but that's not an excuse, and it is still my responsibility to get my work done. What can I do going forward? To which I reply, let's see what I can adjust for you to get you some more points. Please don't make stupid excuses about why your work is late. They are completely transparent. I will respect you totally if you simply say, I don't have it, but I'll have it tomorrow. Period. I don't care why it's late. It's college, not middle school. I'll clarify just a bit. All lateness policies are clarified on day 1, as I'm sure is true for all other profs. In addition, there are obviously exceptions e.g. if you're in the hospital. Also, I'm not saying there's no penalty if you're forthright, but I'll respect you a lot more, and your excuse was not going to do any good anyway. Finally, if you ask for an extension ahead of time, I will give it 99% of the time, no penalty. Just spare me the bullshit. The lateness policy is clear and fair, verging on generous. Pay attention. I'm not blind. I can see you looking at your phone or browsing Reddit. And, no, you're not that good at multitasking. Also, read the syllabus and let me know when you don't understand something. Ignorance isn't a valid excuse. Annoy. Not remembering my name. I have between 75 to 100 students each semester and I learn all their names. You have 4 or 5 professors. I have a simple name. How hard is that? Respect. What I haven't seen mentioned yet. Use my office hours. I'm there with an open door for 10 hours a week. Rarely see any student from my non-major classes. When a student comes by for help, no matter how bad their skills, I instantly respect them more. For me, the big thing is how the smart students interact during class. If you ask useful clarifying questions, answer questions to check your own understanding, and volunteer answers you know, when it's clear I need someone to answer correctly, and it's getting awkward, you rock, and I respect you. If you are always shooting your hand up to answer questions as fast as possible for brownie points, or if you like to ask questions in the middle of class that try to change the subject, or bring us off on a tangent you're personally interested in, shut the fuck up. Respect. Short emails that get to the point quickly. Annoyance. Rambling emails that take 1,000 words to explain that they can't write their essay because their dog is sick. Annoys me to death. be the student that has to argue every point. There is such a thing as asking too many questions. God help you if you're teaching an evening class with lots of discussion. Just one retired person or stay-at-home mom in attendance spells doom. They will derail almost every discussion because their experience doesn't match the lesson, or they just want someone to argue with. They don't care that time is limited. They can spend all night babbling. After 2 weeks you can see half the class roll their eyes every time this person raises their hand. After 3 weeks they are no longer raising their hand, just blurting out their anecdotes. The kid who gets the sly reference I made in class that nobody else picks up on and laughs to himself. Law prof here. To earn my respect requires no intellect. Some of my least gifted students have been the ones I respected most. The students who get my respect are the ones who put their honest to goodness heart and soul into understanding a difficult concept, even when it's hard and frustrating. Every year, I'm surprised and saddened how many students will butt up against a tough idea, struggle for a short period of time, and quit. I don't mean leave school. I mean they stop struggling to learn and replace that effort with a mental shift that their goal is to get a decent grade and move on. Even if it means not understanding a core idea they'll need to succeed. 90% of my students show up on day one with the attitude that they are going to work so hard and to do so no matter what. A big proportion of them cease to do so, and cease to do so very quickly. To quote the totally insane Mike Tyson, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. The students I respect are the ones who will continuing trying with all their might, even after those first few haymakers land. Respect. The best students are those who take responsibility for their success in the class. I teach electives and required classes, so I know not every student is in my labs because of the passion for the subject. That's fine. But if you want a good grade, so you can get into medical school, you need to be responsible for earning it. Annoys me, some students behave as though there's some perceived adversarial relationship between me and them. I'm not your enemy. I'm a guy who knows a lot about chemistry and wants to tell you about some of it. Respect. Own your mistakes. Don't blame your instructor, your book, your personal life, or your classmates. Anecdotally, I found that students who come to office hours and start with "I made a mistake" are the ones who improve the most. Annoy. Attention-seeking behavior /begego. I'm your instructor. I'm here to teach you and help you, not to validate you or design a classroom to act as your personal podium. Plenty of students manage to get high grades in my classes, and I love them. It's the ones who use their grades as an excuse for arrogance that piss me off. Respect. Giving insights or a different view about the lesson, even though wasn't beneficial for tests. Those kind of things I appreciate. Even though I'm the one teaching, I'm still learning from others myself. Annoyance. Caught my student laughing at her iPad, then proceeds to tell me that the copy of the workbook, which is university published BTW, is inside it. It was as laughable as her grade. I was a TAR for chemistry at GATEC for a year and a half. General things that grant you respect have nothing to do with your grade or how smart I think you are, but how much of an effort you put in. Most of my students were also at my office hours, asking for help or clarifications. But I had some B and C students who would have been D and F if they hadn't come for help, that I respected more than students with the same grades, but just chose to coast along. They participated in lecture/lab or asked clarifying questions afterwards. I get it. You're nervous about looking dumb in front of your peers. Whatever. What annoyed me tended to be lab specific, and that's faking data. You give me your data sheets each week as part of the report. I know when you fake the data. I prefer it much more that you report your poorly collected data and explain what it should have been and what went wrong, rather than you get data from someone else and more or less copy their report. Also, not showing up in proper lab attire halfway through the semester. Come on guys, you know the goddamn rules by now. Why are you wearing sandals here? Supreme annoyance when they raise their hand to ask a question, but what they really want to do is talk for several minutes trying to show off how smart they are, and if you let them talk then they'll just trail off without ever actually asking a question. Respect when they come to me after the class time to ask for pick my brains on something from the lecture they are interested in, beyond just what will be on the test. Apostrophe. I'm an adjunct. I teach on a semester by semester basis at both a major research university and a local community college. The pay is bad, there are no benefits, I have no job security, and if I do get a real academic job it is expected as a matter of course that I will be willing to relocate my family anywhere in North America with no warning. Heck, it's increasingly common to move across the country just for 1 or 2 year contracts. I'm thinking of transitioning out of academia entirely. Hardly anything annoys me anymore since I've stopped giving a shit. I have friends who lose their minds over emails that are like, hey, did I miss anything last class lol, but I just copy a link to the slides and move on. Late assignment? Submit it whenever. Keeping track of who is submitting late is too much work. Sick for 2 weeks. Don't care, just don't make me fill out any more paperwork. We'll figure something out. If you missed a test, multiple choice, of course. I ain't grading essays. I mean, there is a final essay, but if you want comments or feedback, schedule some office hours. Otherwise, forget it. I used to write 2 pages of detailed notes on essays and only 2 to 3 people would come pick them up. The rest would sit in a pile on my desk, then get archived in a box, and after 18 months I could shred them. I've streamlined as much of the process as I possibly can, which is only fair, since the university has done the same to us. Chances are your professor is a grad student working under a contract or an adjunct living paycheck to paycheck for the love of the thing. 2/3 of undergraduate teaching is done by non-tenure faculty nowadays. I love teaching, and 99% of my energy goes into presenting material in an engaging way, and I'm pretty goddamn good at it after 10 years. The best way to annoy contract faculty is to create more work for them, and the best way to gain their respect is to do your work, read the damn syllabus, proofread your assignments, and participate in class discussion in relevant pertinent ways. Quote outside sources. Do some basic research. Learn how to use Google Scholar / your school's library system. Pretty much anything over the minimum is noticed and appreciated. If you think a contract faculty member is doing a good job, tell them. They need to hear it, trust me. If you think they're doing a great job, tell their boss. Find out who is chair of the department and send an email and write constructive feedback on their evaluations. If they suck, cut them some slack. They're probably trying to make ends meet on a crap salary, surrounded by pre-austerity tenured profs hired in the 70s and 80s who make north of $90k/year, while desperately applying for a secure position at Gary, Indiana, Community College, which will get 600 applicants, 100 of which will have Ivy League degrees, 5+ publications in top journals, and 3 reference letters from Nobel Prize winners. The winner will get the job, but budget cuts will convert the tenure track appointments to a 2-year VAP, just as they move in. I'm not bitter, grad school has been good to me, but I just have to accept the fact that a PhD doesn't entail even a mediocre job anymore, and starting a new career line when you're on your way to 40 is pretty scary.